Your front door lock, it's really your first line of defense, isn't it? But what if it's not quite as secure as you think? Well, today, we're going to show you one of the fastest and, honestly, most important DIY security upgrades you can possibly make, changing the lock cylinder. Let's get right into it.
So, why would you even need to do this in the first place? I mean, have you ever lost your keys? Or that feeling when you've just moved into a new place and you can't help but wonder, who else might have a key? Maybe your lock just feels a bit stiff and isn't turning like it used to. All of these are big signals that it's probably time for a change.
And you know, the best part about all of this, it's a surprisingly simple fix. I'm not kidding. By just replacing the lock barrel, that's the cylinder part, you get a massive security upgrade and some serious peace of mind, all without needing a new door or a whole garage full of tools.
Okay, let's dive into this a little deeper and get specific. We're going to look at those key moments when swapping out your lock barrel is pretty much the smartest and easiest move you can make.
Think about it. Losing your keys means a total stranger could have access to your home. A sticky, faulty lock could fail on you at the worst possible time. And yeah, when you move, you never know how many spare keys are floating around out there. But honestly, the best reason to change your lock is just to proactively upgrade to something way stronger.
Now what's really cool about this whole thing is how little you actually need to get it done. This is not one of those projects where you have to go out and buy a dozen specialized tools. In fact, you probably have everything you need lying around the house right now.
And that's it, seriously. A basic screwdriver, a tape measure for one very crucial measurement we'll get to in a sec, and of course, your brand new lock barrel and its key. The simplicity here is what makes this such a perfect DIY job.
All right, let's get to the main event, the actual step-by-step. First things first, we've got to get that old lock cylinder out of there.
Okay, first, with your door wide open, look at the edge of the door. You'll see a long screw right in line with where you put your key. Go ahead and unscrew that completely and put it somewhere safe so you don't lose it. Now, here's the magic trick. Put the key in the lock and turn it just a tiny bit. As you gently wiggle it, the whole barrel should slide right out. Just remember, be gentle. Don't force it.
So why does that little turn of the key work? Well, it's all because of this part right here, the inner cam. It's basically a small lever inside that sticks out and holds the lock in place. When you turn the key just a little, you're actually pulling that cam in line with the rest of the barrel, and that's what lets it slide right out of the door. Kinda clever, right?
Okay, old lock is out. Easy enough. The next part is just as straightforward. We just need to take one quick measurement before we pop in the new, more secure cylinder. Now this step is absolutely crucial, so pay close attention. Measure your old lock from the center screw hole out to the edge, and then from the screw hole to the other edge. You need both of those numbers to get the right size replacement. Once you have your new lock, you just do everything in reverse. Key in, line up the cam, slide it into the door, and put that fixing screw back in. And please test it a few times with the door still open.
So the process is simple, but your security is only as good as the lock you choose to install. And making the right choice here is what elevates this from a simple repair to a major security upgrade.
And here it is, the single most important piece of advice you'll get from any professional. Don't just grab any old lock. You need to specifically look for a 3-star anti-snap Euro cylinder. This is pretty much the gold standard for front door security these days.
So what does 3-star actually get you? Well, it means the lock is certified to stand up against the most common ways thieves try to break in. It's built to resist brute force attacks like lock snapping, as well as sneakier techniques like drilling or lock bumping. It's a small difference in price for a massive upgrade in protection.
Now you might be asking, should I do this myself or just call a pro? And really, that decision often comes down to cost versus convenience. So let's just break down the numbers.
If you go the DIY route, you're only paying for the part itself, which for a good 3-star cylinder will run you somewhere between 25 and 60 pounds. Now, if you hire a professional locksmith, you're looking at about 100 to 130 pounds. But of course, that includes the part, the labor, and their know-how.
So, let's do the math. By spending just a few minutes on this really simple job, you can easily save yourself up to 100 pounds, maybe even more. For a task this straightforward, that's a pretty amazing return on your time. And that's it. You're done. By following these steps, you haven't just saved some cash, you've taken direct control of your own home's security. And you've learned a skill that gives you real, tangible protection for you and your family. That's a big deal. So, with your front door now basically a fortress, it leaves us with one last thing to think about.
Security is a process, right? It's not a single action. What's the next weak link in the chain that you could strengthen? Maybe your windows, the back door? It's definitely something worth thinking about.